We've been starting this power hour thing last month. And what we're going to do, we're going to go through things we can do in the motor to enhance power, enhance rideability, things of that nature. Last month we talked about exhausts, different types of exhausts we can do, whether it's slip-ons or full exhausts, and then steps and things as that goes too. This week, this month, we're going to talk about cams and how they can affect the performance and what they do. The first thing we talk about is every motorcyclist comes to the point where they realize that their stock bike is enough. At that point, you got to make a decision: where am I going to start? How far am I going to take this? We spoke a little bit, and yeah, right. That can, you can change that too. One of the things we talked about last month was, before you start doing things, kind of have a general idea of where you want to go. That way, if you go in stage one with an air cleaner and a pipes, we have to do a two. Well, you think, well, later on down the road, we're probably going to do cams. Every time we add a component to the mix, we have to retune. Essentially, we're changing the airflow. So, what cams do? These are cams here. What these do is they spin in direct relationship to the crankshaft. They are going to open and close the valves. As the piston comes up, we got the intake valve open and the exhaust valve. These are going to spin in direct relationship. Push the lifter up and down, which pushes the push rod up and down. Which goes to the push rod support plate. And this is going to sit on top here. And as the push rods come up and down, these are going to close the valves. So, the lobe is going to be this egg shape. And depending on what type of ride and performance you're looking for, the lobe shape changes, whether it gets steeper or whether we get a little bit more rounded. Now, depending on what shape we have here, or degree, that's going to control how high the valve will open, how quickly it opens, and how long it'll stay open. It also, depending on the front and the rear, it'll affect how quickly it closes. One thing we don't want the cam so steep in the back that the valve slams into the head, and you essentially get a bouncing effect. It's hard on the motor, it's real noisy, and what will eventually happen is your valves will start sucking up into the head. They'll round a little bit and they'll start sucking up into the head. At that point, you don't get as good a sealing, the bike just doesn't want to run as efficiently as it did. The load, the base circle, is going to be the bottom side here of the load. Whenever that's in contact with your lifter, your valves are closed all the time. So as we can see, as it spins, it's going to want to push the lifter up, and that's where you get the effect of the push rod to open and close the valves. The ramps, pretty straightforward, self-explanatory. And you can also get asymmetrical loads, where they're not the same. One side may look like this, or one side's kind of rounded and the other side's kind of steep. And that's all depending on what kind of lifestyle you're looking at. I like to call it a red light race, red light, and then you got guys who like to go 120 on the interstate. And depending on where you're looking for that power, will depend on which particular cam you put in your bike. So as far as how this works, this is your cam plate. Everybody got it? So, okay. So this is the front of the bike here. This is transmission mounts here. And so on the left side, right by the exhaust, right side, right by the exhaust, you have the cover, and this is the cam plate. The cams actually sit in here like this, and they'll have a chain around them. And these are critical to be timed correctly. If we're not timed correctly, your valves start hitting pistons, talking about catastrophic failure. Whenever we put that on, these don't have a dot. I guess maybe. So, you know, these have to, and if we're off just a 2, you're talking about crazy problems here. You have done that? Did it run? Did you have anything hidden, or did it just run just bad? Right. There's things they do in the metric world for sport bikes where they will actually they'll have the sprocket is not attached to the cam. Well, it is, but it's got bolts, and it'll essentially have an oval there to where you can, they call it degree. You can change it ever so slightly, but it doesn't. It's not a whole tube for it. So, and you can change performance a little bit. What's going on? We're just talking about cams and how they do what they do and how they can affect performance. So, those sit on the back side of this plate here. Your oil filter, or your oil pump is going to sit here directly on the crankshaft. So once this guy slides on it there, everything's timed from the back side. See the dots there, how those are timed. So right. So you see the dots, how those are timed there. So this is going to sit, the small one is going to sit directly on the crank there, and then the top one is going to sit on this cam, the one that's sticking out. Now, these are actually, if you look real close, see how that line is different than the rest of them? So that spline is different than the rest of them. So this big one, this spline is different. And then you got a flat spot on the bottom of the sprocket. So we have a flat spot on the bottom sprocket. If you look real close, the splines are different. So once we set the timing on the cams and put them in the plate, this will only go on one way. So essentially, so long as you've got your dots lined up here, you may have to spin the crank through to get everything to fit on there right. But once you've got these timed in the back, your motor's timed. So long as your dots are lined up on this as well. Because you can have this off and get it on there. Once again, we're talking about crazy issues and things like that. So, you know, as the crank turns, spin this chain, spins the cams, and that's where we get the lifter's going to sit here. That's sit directly on the load for the cam. And as these come, you know, the cam does its thing, come up and down. Catch the push rod. Mark our support plate. And open and close the valves. So, depending on, you know, like I said, we're saying what you're looking for. We've got the Screaming Eagle catalog here. We can go through, and depending on what model you have and things of that nature, we can go through and we can take mid-range torque, or, you know, when I say mid-range torque, I'm talking about riding on the back road and you know, doing 55 miles an hour, and you know, you got the grandpa in front of you and you're ready to pass him. I don't want to have to downshift to pass him. I just want to roll on and get that roll power. That would be what you're looking for in a mid-range torque. If you're looking for quick bursts of speed, red light to red light, you're going to look for a low-end torque. If you do a lot of interstate riding, where you know you're up over 70 a lot, you're going to look for a high-end torque. So you know, it all depends on what riding style you do the most. You know, if you do a little bit of everything, you know, in my opinion, you're going to be looking for a mid-range cam at that point. So, you know, you can get in the book and be like, oh, you know, I've heard people talk about this 255. I want the 255. Well, that may not necessarily fit your riding style. You know, so we could go in and put the cam in that your buddy told you about, it's the best cam in the world, and we tune the bike and we get it back, and it doesn't suit your riding style, essentially. So, you know, a little bit of discussion with us as far as how you ride, what you're looking for, can help us point you in a direction as far as where to go.
What if they can't
It depends on the model. The new 14s and 15s, the Project Rushmore, the touring bikes come with, it mimics a 255 cam. It's not a 255, but it's quite similar as far as the characteristics go. I've heard many people talk about, we had a gentleman here a few weeks ago he has a 2013 Street Glide, and he just bought his wife in 2014. Pissed off because her bike's faster. Well, essentially, the main difference is they're both 103s, but the cams are different. And so it's got a little bit different characteristics, and he was ready to be a new bike now.